Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending. I'm John Buselink with Alpha Professional Tools, and we're going to show you how to make a laminated edge today. Welcome for coming. We have, as I'm speaking, there's going to be two videos showing 1-minute clips of our systems on how to make a laminated edge. And the way that we want to make laminated edges, we have two methods we're going to show you. We could do what we call a miter grind. And the miter grind system, you're actually using a grinding wheel in order to grind the edge of the material. Or we have a blade system that's going to create and cut the miter edges on your piece of your material. How many people here actually work on miter edges to create a miter edge? Anyone? All right. So now our systems will work for thin porcelain panel and porcelain panels, or you could do actually stone for the stone fabrication. So we could do 2 cm, only 2 cm material. But they're going to work both ways. So depending on how you want to make your miter edge is where you need to choose your tooling. So we're going to start off today talking about our miter grind for thin porcelain panel. And this is our system here. The way the system works, there's a guide rail. The guide rail gets clamped onto the material. So to show you a quick demonstration, we have a piece of thin porcelain panel. So your porcelain panel, it's very important that you actually support it on your table. There can't be no rock and no vibration. It must be supported very well. So once your porcelain panel is on your table, we have a guide rail. And these guide rails, they come in 4, 7, and 12-foot lengths. And the guide rail itself, it's just aluminum. It's a straight edge rail system. It's got grooves on both sides. So your carriage assembly, which I'm going to be showing you, will ride across the guardrail, and that makes a perfect straight level edge. Now what you want to do is take your guide rail, lay it on top of your material, and that's going to be your foundation. Then we have a carriage assembly, and your carriage assembly holds the unit, which is our beveling base, and it holds a polishing tool of your choice. You can attach a pneumatic polisher, you can attach an electric polisher, or you could attach a variable speed grinder, which we'll speak to you about in a little while. But the way it works, the carriage assembly itself has these 4 wheels, and they could actually slide across the channel of the guardrail. So what we're going to do, it slides on, and you can see how easy it slides back and forth. That's going to give you your foundation. Now your clamps are all going to be clamped to the bottom of your material. We don't have the full length material here today, but your clamps go into the guide rail, and then you would secure it to the bottom of your material. On both sides, like so. Now once your guide rail is set and in place, how do you make a straight miter grind? On our system here, we have guides, and these guides allow for a 90 degree, a 45 degree, and a 30 degree. So we're going to be making a 45 degree miter grind. So up here in the system, I'm not sure if we have an overhead camera, we'll grab this. In the system here, I'll put this on, and I put it to where my 45 is, and I tighten it up. On each side here, there's 2 of these. So I'm going to adjust these 2 where my 45 is going to be. Now what I need to do next is just push this so it touches the material. So once this actually touches the material, both the guides, I know my guide rail itself is perfectly straight going across the material. Once that's secure and is straight, I'd go back, retighten my clamps on my guides so it's really secure to the material. And then when I'm done with that, I can take my guides off. I put them back on here for storage. And now my guide rail itself, the carriage, and the whole unit is all ready to go to make a miter grind in order to make that perfect evenness on each side. When I want to do this, depending on your shop and where you are, you could do this in your shop, you could do this out there in the field, but you could have a pneumatic tool like I mentioned. So this is a central water-fed polisher. We have an electric polisher that's water-fed you could actually attach onto here, or you could actually use a variable speed grinder. And in that case, there's no water feed on the grinder. So we have an external water feed that will hook up into the hose to distribute water onto the abrasive. So now what's going to happen here, this unit will be sliding back and forth to grind. So what do we use to make that miter grind? We have two metal wheels here. We have a 60 and we have a 120. What you want to do, depending on how thick your material is, the first wheel itself is going to be used to actually remove stock. It's fast and aggressive, it's going to remove stock. So what we like to do, use this wheel first, and what I'll do is put a China marker and make a line on the very bottom of the material. So as I'm grinding with the first wheel, once I hit that red mark, I know I can stop, and then I'm going to change my wheel to the 120. Because the 120 is going to be less aggressive and less chips on the edge of the material. Our goal is to make this almost like chip free. It's going to be a nice razor sharp edge. So using these two wheels in the system is essential. Those will go on the spindle of the polisher. So as I'm grinding, you're going to be going back and forth. And as I grind, I'm going to do a 1/8 turn, grind until there's no more noise. Turn it again, I'm just going to grind. So the concept is, I'm just removing a little bit of material at a time to make that 45 degree. Once I've hit the red mark, close to the bottom, I'm going to remove that wheel, put the 120 on. The 120 will be used until you reach the very bottom of the material, so that's going to give you your sharp edge. And that's how you're going to make a miter grind. If you want to go extreme, we could do one more grit out there, and that would be our TurboShine 200 wheel. This is a resin wheel. These wheels are actually created so you could polish the edge of a stone, or you could polish for scratch removal on the top of a surface of granite or engineered stone. But this is a resin wheel. I would use this after the last metal wheel, and this will actually make this edge sharper and cleaner. So that's an option what you could do. You can stop with the 120 metal, but you do have the option to go an extreme to make it more crisp, razor sharp edge by using our 200 resin wheel out there. So after you grind, your one edge is done. And then you would take your next piece, you do the same thing with that. You actually do a miter grind. And after the two pieces are done, you can laminate them together. And we had some questions from the audience. Do we offer the glue for that too? We don't offer the glue, but that's your choice of what manufacturer you want to be using for the material. With our system here, because the carriage itself slides across the material, When you do a miter grind, you're actually doing the back side of the material. So the face or the polished side is always face down. You're always working on the bottom of the material. So there's no risk of scratching the top surface. So in this case, we don't need to put any surface protection tape. But Alpha, we offer surface protection tape. So if you're doing anything with a miter grind, a miter polish, and you're doing the top surface, we would always want to put surface protection tape down. Surface protection tape is waterproof, it's reapplicable, and that will protect your surface from this carriage here, because there's always a risk possible of a scratch. So to avoid that risk, we always offer surface protection tape for that. Now this miter grind in the system here, besides doing a miter grind to make a laminated edge, this system is very versatile. If you're into stone fabrication, I could be using this to polish a 90-degree edge. So for example, 3cm material, I could polish, I could create a miter here. So maybe that's a 5mm miter. I could grind that for that miter. I could polish that miter. And then I could set this unit up. I could polish a straight edge for 90 degree using this system. And also this system could also be used for seamless countertops. So when you need to take two pieces of stone material, butt them together, people want to see this seam here to be almost invisible. So using our beveling-based system, we could grind where the seam's going to be, so this edge is razor sharp. Meaning you're going to take the bridge saw blade or however you cut this edge, you get some chipping, very tiny chipping. So to eliminate that chipping, we're going to grind down and make this a very sharp edge, so when the two pieces go together, it's seamless, and when you glue it, it looks almost invisible. But that's what people are calling for today. So I just want to explain, besides doing a miter grind with this system, it's very versatile. There's other systems out there in the field today that only offer seamless countertop and a 90-degree polish. But Alpha Professional Tools, we could do a miter grind. We could do a 90-degree edge with a polish. We could do a 90-degree polish. We could do seamless countertops. So our system is very versatile and more cost efficient for you guys out there. So that would be our miter grind system. If you need and have a purpose to use a blade to make a miter cut for a lamination, this will be our system over here. This system consists of, once again, the guide rail. There's a guide rail that always goes across the top of your surface of your material. As you can see here, maybe on the live feed above me, I do have surface protection tape just to avoid any possible scratches already mounted. So we have our guide rail system here attached already. We have our carriage assembly base, where it has the wheels on there in order to slide through the channel. This system has and comes with our PSC 150. It's a pneumatic stone cutter. We offer in the system 2 stone cutters, because when you make a miter cut, you need to make 2 passes. You have to make a cut one way on a 45. You got to make a second pass going the other way. This is beneficial because if you do a miter cut in your shop with your bridge saw, you actually have to have the stone flipped over. You got to turn it around to make the second cut. Our system here today, we attach the guide rail. It's a one-time attachment. Once you attach the guide rail, you don't need to reset it anymore. This is set to go with one cut going one way, the second cut going the other way. What's so simple about this system is we have, for alignment purposes, we have these 2 plates. And each plate is numbered M1 and M2. meaning miter cut 1 and miter cut 2. So in order to set this PSC 150 stone cutter, pneumatic, onto these carriages, so the blade's perfectly straight to make your cut, you use the alignment plates. The alignment plate goes onto the carriage. So once it's on the carriage, and I'll do it this way to show you, it goes onto the carriage, and there's little tiny rabbit ears in the front. So the plate goes against the rabbit ears. So when I need to mount my saw onto the guide rail carriage, I bring it in so the blade actually touches the plate. So now I'm guaranteed that blade is perfectly straight and not on a tilt. Once that blade's adjusted, I tighten down my base plate to the carriage. Now my system is in perfect alignment for making my cuts. So here, I would set this up for miter cut number 1. And then the same thing on this side, I use a different plate to make my blade aligned. So now both systems together are perfectly straight to make the cut. So what we're gonna do, so you guys don't get confused, you don't cut at the same time with the stone cutters. So what we're gonna do, after I make my guide rail secure to the material, I'm gonna put my pneumatic stone cutter with the carriage onto the guide rail. Now, you can make your miter cut, your woodfall edge could be 6 inches, it could be 8 inches, 10 inches, depending on how big you want that to be. All you gotta do is measure from the end of the guide rail, measure 9 inches out, or whatever distance you want to make your waterfall or your laminated edge, and that will be your method of how to make it. So that's how that would work. So this is our pneumatic stone cutter. The system works with pneumatic air, so you need to have a minimum of 32 CFM in order to make this unit work for 1 horsepower. If you got 48 CFM, this unit will work at 2 horsepower. So you're gonna make sure that your air compressor has sufficient power to run the machines. So that being said, I'm working with sufficient air power. I'm gonna make my first cut at a 45. So all I'm gonna do is just slide this across, make my first cut. That will come off. So I just go all the way across. My second cut will come in. We'll put it on. The second cut, of course, goes all the way across, like so. And when you're making your cuts, always let the blade do the work. You don't need to force it. The slower you go, the more time you allow the blade do the work, you're gonna be more successful in making your straight miter cut. And we do promote step cutting. Go halfway through for the first pass, go halfway through for maybe 3/4 if you want to make 3 passes, and then all the way through for your final cut. So we're gonna come all the way through. Now I just made my cut. What's left now is in the middle piece. Because you've got to make 2 angles. In order to make that 90-degree edge, you need 2 passes. So what we did here, because of the guide rail and how Alpha set this up, the blades cut almost in the same area. That is perfect for book matching. So if you got any material that has like veins or some kind of design, you could book match that. So your vein on top of your countertop or your surface matches the direction going down. Now when you're done, because you asked why you need 2 passes. When we're done here, you got your edge over here. So doing that one system, now you have your laminated edge. And that's why you gotta do 2 passes out there. You glue it up and then you're done. So that's how Alpha Professional Tools, that's how we made our systems. We have a miter grind system. It's actually grind, like thin porcelain panel. And you could do thicker panel, ½ inch, in order to make a grind. Anything bigger, you could do the blade system to make your laminated cuts out there. So that's our system on how to make a laminated edge. And I thank you guys. But before you guys leave, I want to introduce, we have a brand new stone cutter out there in the market. It kind of looks like our new polishers. It's like a pneumatic polisher, but this is actually a stone cutter. It runs at 8,500 RPM. What's new about it, it's got a composite end. So as the air is going through, you're not gonna freeze up and make your hands cold because with the air going through. And this is actually a central water-fed stone cutter. It's unique because the water actually comes out through the flanges. There's grooves in here, which I could show you. The water comes through the spindle, it goes through the grooves, and disperses water equally on both sides of the blade. So as you're cutting, the water splash is going down, it's cooling the blade, there's no dust going up in the air. And I'm gonna be actually demonstrating this blade system, the stone cutter, on Friday at the demo cage at 12 o'clock noon. So I'll be showing you our new stone cutter. I'll be introducing our new air polishers. We have a new Air 30 and Air 50, I believe it is. One runs at 4,000 RPM and the other one runs at 5,000. So these are the new tools that we're gonna be introducing and demonstrating for you guys. Our booth number is 3193, so please come visit us. We could talk more about this system at our booth. If you just go back behind the stage here, we're all the way down at the end. But I thank you guys for your attention. I hope I was able to educate you guys on how to make a laminated edge using our system. And please feel free to come back to me and we'll discuss more of the issues on how we could make your job more easier. All right, thank you.